a minute. Only. I ain't trying to
Hello everybody, welcome back. This is an Elmcreek preview of the new Fs22 US map in Fs22.
Senior level designer at Giant, and I'm responsible for the visual and structural look of the US map for Fs22. Needless to say, I have spent countless hours in Elmcreek.
Bro.
At Giant Software, we have specialists in 3D modeling, texturing, effects, audio, and more. Not to mention the game designers and programmers who then implement their vision in the game. Creating a map for Farming Simulator is a team effort. As Martin mentioned, Elmcreek is inspired by the American Midwest. We did some in-depth research when creating this map. In general, the US Midwest has a completely flat landscape, so it was difficult to find a region suitable for 2 times 2 kilometers. Just providing a flat rectangle would not be enough for us. So first we had to take a closer look at the landscape. After a while, we understood the diversity of the terrain. We also found hilly areas, rivers, and streams that cut deep notches into the landscape. Eventually, we created a combination of these terrain features within the authentic flat landscape. The most obvious difference compared to Ravenport in Fs19, we have a flat landscape with no coastline. Instead, for example, Elmcreek has a hidden canyon with a cave, which contains rocks that we embedded seamlessly into the landscape. In the flat area, we also work with slight increases and decreases in elevation.
Thank
So
you.
you can drive under our railroad line, which goes straight through the land with its underpasses. And you can even drive over it when you come across the railroad bridge. Elmcreek features several bridges due to various rivers and streams that run throughout the map.
Don't mind if I do, buddy.
However, the rivers are not deep and can also easily be crossed with a vehicle, so you won't feel restricted in your movement. This gives us the opportunity to add the necessary visual dynamics to the map, which should give it a subtle attraction through constant variation, rather than on a 2 times 2 kilometer flat plain, where interest is quickly lost. The focus of Elmcreek is on vast areas of farmland. There's no real town this time. We're actually more on the edges of town. There's a gas station, various small businesses, residential areas, and even a few slices of Americana, with a baseball stadium and bowling center. Dealing with a large draw distance presents a challenge to us. We have to make sure that buildings can be easily hidden in the distance. We need to reduce the number of objects to a minimum in order to be able to offer you a good frame rate, so that you can also play the game as smoothly as possible. Many buildings are visible over a long distance, so we can't just fade them out. With medium distance, we have the same problem with all objects and props that need a high distance visibility. This increases the number of generally visible objects enormously. We try to break the lines of sight with trees to allow clipping distances, that is, the imperceptible fade out of so many objects.
That's really good.
There are other ways to reduce the amount of visual objects. If you just put trees in the center or use trees to hide stuff, it also increases the number of transparent areas, because the branches and leaves of the trees are created by so-called alpha planes. That is, they are not 3D modeled, but 2D drawings with transparent backgrounds.
Looks really good.
They also have quite a few polygons. After all, we want to present you with decent vegetation. That's the design challenge. We want to provide you a game that features great graphics, but also smooth performance. To solve this, there are various technical remedies, and each remedy has its own side effects. The art is now to apply the right remedy and to balance side effects in a way that we get a stable and high frame rate.
Looks really
Our
good.
programmers and technical artists do a fantastic job and guarantee you a smooth experience. In contrast to the farm layout of FS19, we decided to place the farm in the middle of the map so that the player can spread out to all sides and have all the possibilities to create their own unique farm.
Oh, thank you. Oh, look at it. It's a roper.
To do this, we reduced
Hey, look,
the
it's the
number of
main
additional
town.
decorative buildings in the farm area and decided to make the buildings open and accessible. This way, you have more space for your own buildings without those that you don't need getting in your way.
Ooh.
Both the garage and barn interiors feature multiple levels. You can drive into the buildings and store your vehicles there. The barn can also be used as a storage room for pallets, big bags, or other items you need for
They
farm
did it.
operations. Forklifts and other small vehicles will fit through most of the doors. The fields may seem small at the beginning of your career on Elmcreek and FS22, but remember, in the beginning, players don't have much money, and the bigger the field, the higher the costs.
Yeah.
In total, there are 81 predefined fields on Elmcreek,
That looks
more
really
than we've
good.
had before. But we still have the larger fields typical for the region. Experienced players with the appropriate equipment will find these larger fields to be a great addition to their farming business. And as always, you will have the ability to merge or create fields at your own discretion.
Thank you.
Use a plow with Create Fields enabled and use your imagination to create your own unique landscape in Elmcreek. If you look at the map, you will notice that many various field shapes exist. Some have rounded off edges, some are shaped completely differently. This is to provide a more authentic alignment
looks
with
good.
the infrastructure and a believable embedding.
Mm-hmm.
As in the Alpine map, we offer undefined areas with complete organic shapes.
Whoa.
The player has to discover them on their own, as they are not predefined and do not have a number on the minimap. The tutorial fields at the beginning are rectangular, so each player has the opportunity to save time and enjoy a comfortable start in the game. When you decide to invest more time in the game, the challenge increases.
Okay, and back. I was rudely interrupted, so...
And do some additional things. You'll have to cut trees, combine fields, and adjust the field shape so that the helpers are of good help to you. You determine the best way for your farm to be efficient.
Wait, what the hell was he talking about before?
The tutorial fields at the beginning are rectangular, so each player has the opportunity to save time and enjoy a comfortable start in the game. When you decide to invest more time in the game, the challenge increases. You'll have to be more efficient and do some additional things. You'll have to cut trees, combine fields, and adjust the field shape so that the helpers are of good help to you. You determine the best way for your farm to be efficient. If you explore the map and go to its corners, you will see farms that you can use in multiplayer mode.
Whoa! That looks so good. Right next to the highway, too.
They have the same layout concept
I
as
like
the starter
this one.
farm, with small fields in close proximity.
I'm going there.
Surrounding
That's my
fields make
farm.
them an ideal starting area with opportunities to expand later.
Dude, that barn!
You
Oh
can, of
my
course,
God.
build your own farms any way you wish, on any land that you own on the map. We wanted to achieve more complexity in the architecture in FS22, more details and layers, so that everything becomes more believable and authentic. Think about the vehicles that are also getting more detailed. Both of those things have to grow together now. The world has to become more detailed, just like the vehicles. That's enough shop talk. Now, I'd like to show you some very special places in Elmcreek that are my personal favorites.
Nice little bridge there. Nick. Ooh. Look at, there's a bridge up there.